We had rules. Don't answer dead air after 3:33 a.m. If the CB hisses and there's nothing on it, let it hiss. Don't stop on mile marker 333. Keep rolling, even if you have to pee. Don't touch folded paper tucked under your wiper at night. If it's for you, you don't want it. I believed enough to repeat it. I didn't believe enough to run when it started. We were on an overnight haul, westbound, dry freight, 700 miles to go. Ruth rode shotgun like always. Thermos, cracker crumbs, her feet up on the dash until a way station or a turn. We talked about nothing. Dogs you see at night. Plates from far states. She had a little cough. I had that feeling in my shoulders. The one that comes after midnight when the road turns soft and you think you'll fall into it. The first 333 came after a long straight. The green sign flashed in the headlights. Mile 333. I said it out loud because it was a habit. 3:33. Ruth looked over. Keep rolling, she said. She said it like a joke. I touched the wheel where my knuckles sit and kept speed. I felt okay. Nothing weird. 10 minutes later, I saw it again. Same sign. Same tilt. Same dent along the post where something had clipped it. Mile 333. No, I said. That's wrong. Ruth sat up and took her feet off the dash. You turned around? She said. No. I checked the mirrors like that would fix it. Same corn stubs out there. Same low fence. Same night. The CB gave a little crackle, then hiss. Just empty breaths, like someone cupped a hand over the mic. I turned it down, and then back up. You get weather, you get chatter. This wasn't that. It was dead air letting you know it was dead. I left it. Don't touch it, Ruth said. She had one hand on the thermos and the other on the door. There wasn't anything to touch yet. It came anyway. A man's voice broke through. Smooth, like someone who'd spoken into mics his whole life. Brother Daniel, he said. No one calls me that on the road. My mama used to when she was mad. I go by Danny. The voice was not my mama. Brother Daniel, you pull west. You pull where the mile is counted, and the mile is counted against you. I looked at Ruth. Her mouth hung open. Turn it off, she said. I tried to think if I knew the guy. Some driver with a joke? Who's on 19? I said. Sounded dumb. He chuckled like he heard my thought. You used to be Mouse, he said. That was my name when I was a kid. Only 3 people ever called me that. He said it right. He said it soft, like you do when you don't want to scare a little thing. Mouse! Your brother called you that when you'd steal his radio. He slapped the ear, not the cheek. There's a scar behind the ear. Little white fishbone. My right ear went hot. I wanted to reach up. I didn't. I felt it like he had tapped it. Ruth said, How does he know that? She whispered like the man could hear us. I spun the knob and switched channels. He stayed. Not that voice. The hiss. Then he slid back in on another one. Dial all you want, he said. I am on the road. I killed the volume. The hiss kept on like a bug stuck under the dash. I smacked the side of the unit. It went quiet. The relief was big and stupid. Then the sign came again. Mile 333. The same sign. I'd swear to it under oath. This is wrong, I said. I checked the GPS. It showed a bright line and a little truck and no mile numbers. I didn't trust it. I didn't trust the road. Let's stop, Ruth said. Let's just stop. We break the rule and stop so we break the other thing. It made sense to me in that second. I took the next exit. It was a thin one, a little off-ramp to a gas and go with a red roof I'd seen before in daylight. The lot looked bright from the highway. The sign said open in hard neon. I rolled down into the lot. My head felt tight. My shoulders felt like wire. As my front tires hit the concrete, every lot light went black. The open sign went with it. The pumps died. The only light left came from my own headlights and the one kitchen bulb inside the store. That bulb hummed on and off like a bad heart. "Back out," Ruth said. "No," I said. I had to pee. I don't know why that mattered. It felt like if I didn't do the normal thing, I would shake apart. I parked nose out. I set the brake and left the engine on. "You stay," I said. "Lock it." I checked the mirror and stepped down. The night inside a dead truck stop is wrong. You hear your own boots too close. You smell warm gas and something else, like paper burned all the way down to black. I walked by the pumps and saw the ash. Circles of it around each island. Not a spill. Clean rings about as wide as a man could make if he walked around with a can. In each ring were little torn bits of pamphlet, black on the edges, white at the fold. The words looked new in the part that didn't burn. Fresh ink sits on paper like oil. It shines. The scraps shined. I went to the windshield to clean a bug that wasn't there. It gave me something to do with my hands. There was a pamphlet tucked under the wiper, folded tight, 3 folds like a letter. I stared at it. I didn't touch it. The top had a cross stamped in purple. The ink hadn't dried. You could smell it. Right in the wet were 2 fingerprints. Someone had pressed it after the stamp. My name was on the front. Danny and Ruth. Our route number. The turn we missed last time we came this way. The name of the town where we'd married. Full. Spelled right. I said her name. It came like a cough. "Ruth." She reached across from inside the cab and knocked the glass. She shook her head. "No." She mouthed it big. "Don't." I left it. I walked fast to the restroom. The door had a lock with a coin slot that didn't need a coin. I shoved in, turned the tap to hear water, heard nothing. The air in there was cold and smelled like bleach that lost the fight. The stall door had scratch marks all over it. Not graffiti. Just words cut in lines. "Please keep me. God hear me. I am sorry." Some were scratched and then crossed out hard, like the person changed their mind. Some thin lines looked like someone wrote with a nail. A lot of crosses, but not even. More like plus signs with the top cut short. Little crude crosses. I didn't pee. I couldn't. It felt like someone else had just left and the mirror would show them. I went back out. Ruth pointed down at the ground by the front tires. "Look," she said through the glass. I leaned and saw them. 3 nail boards pushed up under the tires, shaped like crosses. Not careful carpentry. 2 scraps of pallet banged together wrong, nails hammered through sharp side up. 1 nail dimpled the rubber already. I swore. I crouched and slid the first one out with my fingertips. The nails scraped on the concrete. I could feel the steel through the wood like a cold in my teeth. I slid the others out and tossed them. They clattered. I straightened up and heard it. Hiss. The CB in the cab was off. It hissed anyway. Then the voice came. "Only he who marks and is marked will pass," he said. The voice was close now. Not big radio. Close. I looked up. Men stood at the edges of the lot where the light had been. 10? 12? I couldn't count. They didn't move right away. They just stood with their hands at their sides like they were in a line. Some held their wrists up like they were showing bracelets. It took a second to see. Watches. Cheap ones. All lit up green. Everyone showed 3:33. I stared at mine out of reflex. It was 2:41. Their watches didn't care. They held them like it was a badge. I backed up to the step and got in. "Go," Ruth said. She had tears in her eyes and her fingers pressed into the dash. I put it in gear. As I pulled to the drive-out, a small group stepped into the lane with a thing like a sawhorse. Nail boards again, tied together into a fence, little crooked crosses. I turned the wheel hard and rode over the edge of a low curb. I heard one nail scratch the sidewall. I kept going. The men didn't run. They just watched me skid out and swing back up to the ramp. The highway looked empty. My breath slowed. I told myself I'd made it big in my head. "We're okay," I said. "We're gonna get to the next exit. We'll hit the sheriff there. There's a sheriff's substation at Dalton." I said it like that so it sounded planned. Ruth rubbed her palms on her jeans. "Call them," she said. I handed her the phone. She dialed. It rang without rings. Just a soft pop and nothing. She tried again. Dead. She tried the radio. I turned it on because I needed to hear something that wasn't me. Hiss. Then the man. "Mouse," he said lightly. "You were always quick. You bit through a nickel once. You hid it under your tongue. It cut you. You swallowed blood and copper. Your mama washed your mouth out and you said you liked it. I had done that. I felt sick and mad and small." "Stop," I said out loud. I don't know if I meant the voice or the truck. "Danny," Ruth said. "Who is that?" She said it through teeth. We hit a long curve and then the underpass rose up. The concrete looked wet, though it hadn't rained. Headlights swung and threw our light down the slope. I saw him under there. A man in a black coat that wasn't heavy enough for the night. He stood on the grit like it was a floor. He held a mic from a CB with the cord trailing to a battery pack at his feet. He had a small bus behind him, old, white. The kind churches used to haul kids. Its door hung open. People stood inside it like cargo, hands on the bars, watching. More stood along the shoulder. Some held those watches up. Some held folded pamphlets in both hands like you hold a sandwich you don't want to spill. Their fingers were stained where the purple stamp ink still wet had bled. He looked at me and smiled like we knew each other. He pressed the talk button and didn't need to. He spoke and I heard him in the cab and in my head at the same time. "Pulled by the mile," he said. "By the third and third and third." He tilted his head like he was listening to music. "Brother Daniel. Ruth. You turned off when the hour asked for you. Do not be stubborn." I went past. I kept my eyes on the line so I wouldn't look again. I could feel Ruth looking at me and back at him and at me. We didn't talk. We didn't say what we both thought, which was that he had said our names like he birthed us. I took the next ramp without reading the sign. I didn't want to go under another bridge with dark under it. The ramp looped too tight. The trailer swayed. I let it. The road on top was a 2-lane divided with a grass strip. No trucks. I hit the gas. The convoy found us in the mirrors. First a sedan with a dull hood, then a pickup with a flag sticker, then the white bus. They had no plates I could see. They didn't weave. They just followed, steady. The CB crackled, and the man hummed a hymn without words. The same notes, over and over. It sounded like teeth on a comb. I mashed the scan. I got weather. I got a guy calling for a sandwich on a different channel. Then the hymn slid in under everything, and the meat of the other voice went away. They surged. The sedan came up on my right and slid close to the bumper like he was going to nip it. The bus moved to the left lane and hung there where I could see the driver. He wore a hat low. The pickup tucked in behind the trailer so I couldn't see his lights. The road narrowed. They had me. I felt the wheel get slick under my palms. My hands left sweat. "Keep it," Ruth said. She held the thermos in one hand like she could hit someone with it. "Keep it steady." A shape ran into the road out of nowhere, but it wasn't an animal. It was a person with something in their arms. Boards again. They tossed him into the lane and backed away neat like they did it a lot. Little cross-shaped nail boards. They skittered. I saw nails flash. I couldn't swerve all the way. I picked the line and took the smallest ones. The trailer bumped. The truck jolted. I waited for the hiss of a popped tire, the bang, the lean. It didn't come. I got lucky, or they wanted me rolling. The Prophet ﷺ's voice came easy. "We'll mark you so you can pass," he said. "It's good. It's mercy. Let me touch you. Let me touch her." He said that in a way that made my back cold. I saw his white teeth and the memory of him smiling. "Don't use my wife's name," I said at the empty windshield. Ruth swore without air behind it. We saw a sign for a way station. It was an old one they'd shut. The lights had been gone for years. The shoulder opened there into a wide flat, the little house sitting dark like a shed. I thought, they won't follow me in there if I make it look like I'm going to weigh. I don't know why. It made sense in the part of me that wanted a border. I put on the right turn signal because habits are hard. Then I killed it because habits will get you killed. I took the exit hard. They did follow. The bus swung wide. The pickup took the inside and beat me to the scale house and angled across both lanes with a neat slide. The sedan pulled up on my left and stayed there so I couldn't cut out. We were boxed in. Gravel skittered under my tires and I slowed because I had to. The big house window had chicken wire behind it. In the glass were papers. The old weight slips looked like little receipts. Someone had scrawled on the wall around the window, where the counter used to be, cut into the paint by something metal. The words were hard to read in the bounce, but I saw parts. "I will pass. Forgive. He watches." The bus door opened, and the Prophet ﷺ stepped down like he was stepping onto a stage. He left the mic on his hip. He didn't need it. He came up steady, not running. His followers spread out. Some had hammers hanging from their belts. Some held pamphlets. The purple ink had smeared on their thumbs. He smiled, not wide, and put one hand on my truck's running board and the other on the grab handle. He climbed with grace I didn't like. His coat brushed the side of the cab. The CB went from hiss to clean like it was waiting. I locked the doors. But he didn't go for the handle first. He leaned in and rested his forehead against the glass like he was listening through it. His breath fogged the spot, and he drew a small cross in it with one finger. Crude, unsteady. He smiled at his own drawing. Then he curled his fingers under the edge of the window and tried to get leverage. You could hear the rubber squeal. He put the other hand to his mouth and bit his glove and pulled it off with his teeth. His bare hand had ink to the wrist. Purple stained all in the creases and under the nails. He lifted it like a blessing. Ruth hit the air horn without me telling her. The blast made his eyes slam shut for a second. It bounced around the empty lot and came back twice as hard. It did nothing to his smile. He touched the window with his stained hand and dragged it down slow, leaving a wide smear. A purple streak. He made the same crooked cross he'd drawn in fog, only this one stuck. He moved to the door handle and tried it. The lock held. He didn't yank. He breathed and talked to me through the glass. You could hear him like he was inside. "Mouse," he said. "Open up. Let me mark your skin. It don't cut like a knife. It don't take blood. It is quick. It is a pass. Open up for Ruth. She won't have to hurt." He said her name with ease, and I saw her pull her hands into her sleeves like she was cold. Her face had that look she gets when she pushes down fear so far it goes quiet. My hand found the tire iron under the seat because I always keep one there. Rust flakes cut my fingers. I didn't feel it yet. "When I move, floor it," I told Ruth. She nodded without looking at me. Her hands were on the horn again. I slipped the iron up and over the wheel well and cracked the window a hair. It made me sick to do it. I needed a shot at his hand. He smiled like I'd agreed to something. He slid his fingers in the crack to pull. That's what I wanted. I brought the tire iron down on his knuckles. Bone and metal make a sound that is not a pop and not a thud. He jerked his hand out and hissed between his teeth. The purple ink smeared across the edge of the glass where skin tore. He didn't yank back like a normal man. He moved like someone careful not to drop something. Then he grabbed the handle with his other hand and set his foot more solid on the step. He was fast. Ruth hit the horn and didn't let go. The pickup in front rocked back an inch like the driver flinched. I shoved the shifter to drive and stomped the pedal. The truck lurched. The prophet hung on and his legs banged against the side. He reached again for the window with the bloody knuckles. Not mad, just sure. I swung the tire iron again. It hit his wrist this time. The sound made Ruth say, "Oh," like she dropped a plate. He didn't fall. I grabbed a cargo strap out of the foot, well, a short one we use to cinch pallets when the main strap frays. I looped it fast around the grab handle and flicked it like a whip around his arm where he'd got that hand in. It caught, and I yanked it hard and down. He slammed into the side of the cab. His face hit the spot he'd fogged before. His lip left a pink star. He laughed. It came through the glass like he lived there. "Hurt me if you need to," he said. "I don't mind." The bus moved up, blocking more, and the sedan edged close so our mirrors kissed. Glass broke. The left side spidered. I turned the wheel and felt it bite gravel. The front bumper touched the pickup's tailgate. The pickup's brake lights flared. I didn't let up. Metal bent. The sound of it woke up something in me. I kept my foot down and the truck did what it does. It pushed. It shoved that pickup sideways like a chair. The followers shouted all at once. First sound they made. The prophet braced his feet on the running board and reached for my face again with his free hand. That hand had no cut. It was clean but for the ink. He made a slow motion with his fingers like he was about to paint a line from my forehead to my jaw. The cargo strap dug into his wrist. I yanked it again, looped it twice around the handle, and slammed the door into his shoulder with my hip. It didn't open. It hit him anyway. He lost his place. He slid. Ruth swung her fist and hit the hazard switch and the air horn again, and then smacked the window where his palm had been, like she could wipe it away from the other side. The pickup in front scraped across the concrete lip of the scale, and the nail boards someone had thrown under us popped like sticks. A few nails snapped. I felt one under a rear tire roll under and out. The bus moved to block again, and I turned the wheel so hard it felt like it was going to come off. The trailer fishtailed and the back end kissed the bus. The bus door swung and snapped shut. People inside fell back and their hands slapped the glass. The prophet Saisam lost his feet. He let go of the grab handle finally, not from pain. He let go because he had to keep his body off the ground. He jumped down backward and landed like a cat. He looked up into my face through the glass. He had a slice on his lip, and the purple handprint he'd left on the window lined up with his own face for an instant. It looked like he wore his own mark. That spooked me more than anything. I didn't need his blessing on my skin. I floored it, and the truck climbed up onto a lip and then over it, and we were out onto the shoulder grass. The pickup's bed crumpled against my bumper and then slid off. We were clear. I put the whole weight of my life on the pedal and we went through. They didn't chase right off. Maybe they didn't expect the push. Maybe they liked the show and wanted a second act later. I don't know. The highway opened in front of us, black and wide and empty. I took the wrong lane, and then the right one. I drove until my arms shook and the tatch hummed like a bug. Ruth kept her hands on the horn as if keeping it ready would help. She let it go and then put her fingers in her mouth and bit them until she tasted blood. She told me later she didn't know she did that. I believed her. We didn't stop. We passed the mile signs like ticks. One said 331, one said 332, and I breathed at the wrong time before 333. It didn't come. It didn't come because the signs didn't matter or because we had been somewhere between. I don't know. The CB was quiet. The smear on my window dried to a brownish that looked like rust. The cut on my hand from the strap burned. The cargo strap had a little blood on it too. I threw it into the sleeper like a snake I didn't want to look at. Ruth picked pieces of glass out of her lap until there were little piles. At sunrise, we pulled into a town with a sheriff's office that had coffee and a couch. We told the man what happened. He wrote it down like he didn't know what blanks to fill. When I said the name Mouse, he looked up and asked if I wanted to make a joke. I wanted to throw up and sleep. We did neither. We washed my window with Windex and the smear stayed. The purple had bit into the glass scribble. You could feel it under your finger. It was dry and it felt like a stamp on a coin. Raised and certain. We finished the run late. We didn't speak of it in the day. We didn't say prophet or 333. We didn't say mouse. At night, I kept the CB turned off, and then my hand would reach for the knob by itself, like a dog that comes back to the gate. Ruth started wearing long sleeves even when it was warm. There wasn't a mark on her arms. She said it made her feel covered. I let her. I took the long way around any station we passed on the route map that had a cross by its name. No reason. Habit. A week later, we came through a different state in a different truck with a different trailer. We had a new window. Ruth slept half-curled with her jacket under her head. I watched the road and the mile saw us. 330. 331. My chest tightened at 332 like a hand. Then, nothing. Number 333. I laughed once, soft. I thought maybe I had done it. Maybe I had put it behind us by not stopping, by not opening, by breaking through. The CB was off. The night was ours. At 3:33, the CB clicked on by itself. Just a little tick like a throat clear. Then it clicked again, like someone pressing and releasing the talk button close to my ear. I didn't reach for it. I felt the heat in my ear like a hand. I glanced at Ruth and she slept, mouth open a little, breath steady. The clock on the dash rolled to 33 with a soft blink. The voice filled the cab, clean as my own breath. Calm. He finished a sentence we hadn't let him finish at the way station. He said our names like a prayer, and then he said, "Now let me tell you what comes next." That's it for tonight's tale. If it kept you up, maybe leave a like to keep me company. Subscribe for more strange stories. And maybe, just maybe, click the next one before the lights go out. See you in the next one.